that opportunity. Alright, so what do you want to be doing? So he wants to be not in speed buff. Do not be in speed. There is no reason for him to be in speed buff right now. He is accomplishing nothing with that speed buff. Like, like, you're generally faster, but you don't really get much of a benefit out of it. You don't charge your ultimate, and he's on the ground, so he died. There you go. Get owned. Get punished for being on the ground. So, like, the benefits of speed buff, just the general aura, are very lackluster when you don't have a team that's based around the speed buff. Like, there was no reason for him to be in speed buff right now. It doesn't gain you ultimate. It doesn't keep your team alive much better. Like, especially in solo queue or duo queue, your team aren't planning to be faster. You know, your team aren't really gaining much benefit because it's not coordinated. Your healing is foolproof. So with your speed buff on and active, like in regards to your team, you're relying on them to actually be skilled enough to utilize it. You don't want to rely on your team in solo queue or duo queue. You want to be self-sufficient. So that's why you want to be in your heal buff, because your heal buff is foolproof. No matter what, your heal is going to be beneficial to your team, right? So your heal is going to keep them in the fight longer regardless of their skill. Allow them to do more damage regardless of their skill. You know, allows them to gain their ultimate faster and more frequently regardless of their skill. Allow you to gain your ultimate faster regardless of your team's skill. So that's why healing is just so much more powerful, especially in solo queue and dual queue, which most people are actually going to be doing. And that's why you don't want to fight Tracer, because she might have her ult and then you're just dead. He needs to be off the ground. He died there. Because he wasn't in an elevated position, which he has no excuse to be on the ground in this level, because pretty much everywhere you can just bunny hop off of. But back to the point of the speed versus healing buff, you like, some people like have this idea like, oh, being in the passive heal buff makes it so you duel better, you know, so you dodge more damage. First of all, you shouldn't be dueling anyone as Lucio ever. Ever. That's a waste of your time. It's too risky. It narrows your vision. It gives you less map awareness. So not only if you're dueling someone, if you're not just running up and assassinating them because they're low health or they're a widow or something, or they're a widow or Zenyatta specifically. I'm giving those two ones. Those are the people you assassinate. Widow, Zenyatta, or someone who is low health. If it's not one of those three, then you're dueling them, and that means you're like at a very high risk, a risk that you don't need to be taking. Like, it's much more efficient use of your time if you use your time to heal 3 people, to stick next to your team, to heal as much damage as you possibly can at any given time. But if you're trying to duel someone, and especially if you're sacrificing supporting your team by being in speed buff while you're dueling, that's just the most efficient. That's just a waste. That's just a waste. It's just suboptimal. You don't want to be in your passive speed buff ever. You do not want to be in your passive speed buff ever. You just want to be using your speed buff to flank, to assassinate someone, and then to kill them quickly, and then get back to your team. As you get better with Lucio, you realize that you don't actually need your speed buff to do what you once used it for, as in to get yourself out of tough situations that you put yourself in that you would have avoided by just being a better Lucio and being able to utilize your wall climb and your movement to put yourself in a better position in the first place. And once you got getting good and actually start seeing the results of good team-oriented play and how powerful your ults are, and how unnecessary it is to duel people, and how little value you get out of killing individuals, then you just stop using your speed buff to duel people, because you're like, wait, why would I duel them when I could just heal my team and instead of getting 1 kill, I can push with my ultimate and win the game. Like, it's so much more beneficial to just heal your team and support. Don't duel. And if you're like fighting someone with your team around, if you're healing 3 people and fighting someone at mid-range, you know, from an elevated position, then you're not dueling. That's not a duel. A duel is when you're one-on-one, no one else around, just you and them. Don't duel. That's a waste of your time. There's a much more efficient way to use your time, and that is supporting your team. Yeah, he's